Some wheel loaders just refuse to die, and these old beasts are the perfect example. Decades of abuse, mountains of dirt, brutal job sites, non-stop workloads, and they're still running like they were built yesterday. These machines earned their reputation the hard way, through pure toughness. Let's count down the 10 wheel loaders that proved you can't kill real engineering. Number 1. Caterpillar 966D. The Caterpillar 966D wasn't just a wheel loader, it was a symbol of American heavy equipment engineering reaching its peak. Introduced in the early 1980s, the machine quickly earned a reputation for being unstoppable, reliable, and capable of handling workloads that should have destroyed most equipment of its era. At the heart of the 96D was the world-famous CAT 3306 diesel engine, an engine so overbuilt that it is still used in generators, pumps, and industrial machinery across the world. This engine became the gold standard for reliability. It could run at high temperatures, tolerate dusty and muddy conditions, and keep operating even when maintenance was less than ideal. The 96D's construction was equally impressive. Caterpillar used thick, high-grade steel for the frame, boom arms, and linkage. The Z-bar linkage system provided huge breakout force, allowing the machine to dig into heavily compacted gravel, clay, or rock. Even with a 4-5 cubic yard bucket fully loaded, the loader never felt strained. Its hydraulic system was simple but incredibly powerful, designed to deliver consistent performance in mines, quarries, cement plants, and busy construction sites. One of the biggest reasons the 966D outlived modern machines is its lack of electronics. There were no computer modules, no complicated sensors, only mechanical controls and analog gauges. If something broke, it could be fixed with basic tools, making the machine popular in remote mining regions and developing countries where advanced diagnostic tools were unavailable. Even today, more than 40 years after its introduction, thousands of 960X continue to run around the world. Many have over 30,000, 50,000 operational hours, and some machines still use their original engine. Contractors often say, a new loader might be faster or more comfortable, but the 960XD is a loader you can trust with your life. This machine wasn't just built to last, it was built to survive anything. Number 2. Komatsu WA450. The Komatsu WA450 was one of the biggest success stories in Komatsu's lineup during the 1980s. When the machine was launched, the company was determined to build a loader powerful enough to challenge Caterpillar's dominance while still offering the signature durability that Japanese machinery was known for. They succeeded brilliantly. Powered by the rugged Komatsu S6D125 engine, the WA450 was engineered to run at lower RPMs than competing machines. This design choice alone dramatically increased the engine's life. Lower stress meant less heat, less wear, and fewer breakdowns. Many WA450 engines have run for 40,000 hours or more without a major rebuild, something few modern engines can claim. The transmission and axle system were equally tough. Komatsu overbuilt these components to handle the steep climbs, heavy bucket loads, and non-stop cycles found in large quarries and mining operations. The hydraulic pumps were oversized, delivering smooth bucket motion even under heavy load. Operators often praised the WA450 for its easy handling. It felt balanced, stable, and predictable on rough terrain. Another reason the WA450 refused to die is Komatsu's clever use of interchangeable parts. Many components used on the WA450 could also be found on other Komatsu machines. This ensured a long supply of spare parts, even decades later. For developing countries, where sourcing parts is often a challenge, this made the WA450 extremely valuable. Even today, fleets of 1980s WA450s work daily in mines across Indonesia, India, the Philippines, and Africa. These old machines rattle, shake, and leak a little oil, but they still move mountains of material without complaint. The WA450 is proof that when a loader is built with longevity in mind, it becomes a machine that refuses to fade away. Number 3. Volvo L90. The Volvo L90 remains one of the most beloved wheel loaders ever built, and not just in Europe. Its reputation has spread worldwide. Released in the late 1980s, the L90 was ahead of its time in terms of operator comfort, hydraulic smoothness, and fuel efficiency. But while it may have seemed refined, underneath the elegant engineering was a machine built to endure decades of harsh work. The Volvo TD45 and TD60 engines powering the early L90 models were masterpieces of Scandinavian engineering. They were quiet, efficient, and extremely durable. Many owners still swear by these engines, claiming that they start more reliably in cold weather than newer computerized models. Volvo did not chase extreme horsepower. Instead, they designed an engine that delivered consistent torque at low RPM, significantly reducing wear. The L90's hydraulic system was another standout feature. Volvo's patented load sensing system made sure the hydraulic pump delivered only the required flow, reducing fuel consumption and prolonging pump life. This is one of the biggest reasons why many L90s still operate with their original hydraulic pumps even after 30 years. Volvo also built the L90 with exceptionally high manufacturing standards. The articulation joint, a point of failure on many loaders, remained tight for decades due to precision machining and high-quality bushings. Even today, 1980s L90s often show less articulation wear than modern loaders with half their working hours. In Sweden, Norway, and Finland, many municipalities still rely on these old L90s for snow removal, road maintenance, sand loading, and heavy lifting. The loader's versatility and reliability have made it a favorite in the harsh Nordic climate. The L90 wasn't just built to be efficient, it was built to survive ice, snow, heat, rough ground, and endless work. A true Scandinavian warrior. Number 4. Case 621B. The Case 621B is the perfect example of a machine that may not look impressive on paper, but in real-world use proves itself unstoppable. When Case launched the 621B, the goal was simple: build a loader that was affordable, strong, and incredibly easy to maintain. The result was a machine that became a favorite of farmers, small contractors, municipalities, and material handling yards. At the heart of the 621B was the legendary Cummins 6BT engine, a motor that achieved worldwide fame for reliability. This engine was used in pickup trucks, mining equipment, military vehicles, and marine applications. It was famous for being able to run on low-quality fuel, endure extreme temperatures, and keep working even when maintenance schedules were ignored. But the 621B's reliability wasn't just about the engine. Case engineers designed the entire machine around simplicity. There were no unnecessary electronics, no fragile sensors, and no complicated computer systems. Everything was mechanical, straightforward, and overbuilt. This meant the loader could be repaired in the field using basic hand tools, a huge advantage for rural operators or contractors with limited resources. The hydraulic system was equally durable. It wasn't exceptionally fast, but it was incredibly consistent and difficult to break. The Z-bar linkage provided strong breakout force, while the loader's compact design allowed it to work in tight areas where larger loaders struggled. Today, 621Bs still operate in American farms, South American gravel pits, and Eastern European construction sites. In many cases, these machines are pushing 30,000 plus hours and running on their original engines. Owners often keep them even after upgrading to modern loaders because the 621B reliably acts as the backup machine that becomes the hero when the new one fails. A true iron legend. Number 5. John Deere 544E. The John Deere 544E wasn't the biggest or the most powerful loader of the 1980s, but it quickly earned a reputation for being one of the toughest and most reliable machines of its class. Designed during a period when Deere was expanding its construction lineup, the 544E embodied everything that makes John Deere equipment beloved: strong engineering, rugged components, and reliability under pressure. The loader's heart, the John Deere 6688T engine, was a masterpiece. Known for its long life, low fuel consumption, and outstanding torque, the 6688 engine powered everything from tractors to excavators to generators. It was simple to repair, forgiving of poor maintenance, and capable of running thousands of hours without complaint. Many 544Es still run on their original engines decades later. But the 544E's drivetrain is what truly made it legendary. Deere used extremely strong axles, thick gears, and a reinforced transmission that could tolerate operator abuse. Whether working in freezing cold winters, humid lumber yards, or hot, dusty farms, the 544E kept going with minimal downtime. Operators loved the machine because it was easy to handle, had great visibility, and offered smooth hydraulic performance. The cab insulation was significantly better than earlier loaders, making long workdays less exhausting. Farmers especially adored the 544E. It became a universal tool, loading grain, moving hay bales, clearing snow, stacking logs, and lifting heavy equipment. Even today, many farms across the U.S. keep their 544Es because newer computerized loaders struggle in dusty barns and remote fields where moisture and rough terrain cause sensor failures. The 544E is a perfect example of how well-built, simple engineering creates machines that last generations. It wasn't just a loader, it became a trusted member of the farm or construction crew. Number 6. Michigan L190. The Michigan L190 wasn't just a wheel loader, it was a force of nature. Built during a time when Clark, Michigan was known for manufacturing some of the toughest heavy-duty machines on Earth, the L190 was engineered with one mission: survive the brutality of mining and quarrying. This wasn't a loader for small construction sites or municipal yards. It was a giant built to move mountains, literally. Under the hood, the L190 carried a Detroit diesel 12V71 or similar high-horsepower power plant, depending on the configuration. Anyone familiar with Detroit diesels knows these engines are loud, raw, and incredibly powerful. The signature two-stroke roar of the Detroit made the L190 sound like a locomotive every time it revved up. But that roar wasn't just noise, it was the sound of enormous torque ready to rip into heavy material all day long. The L90's frame was another engineering marvel. Unlike modern loaders that use lighter materials and thinner steel to save weight, the L90 was built like a tank. Its frame rails, bucket arms, and entire chassis were made from extremely thick reinforced steel plates. This allowed it to withstand massive shocks, impacts, and stresses without cracking or bending. Even after thousands of hours of quarry abuse, collisions with boulders, drops, and non-stop loading cycles, most L90 frames stayed straight and sturdy. The hydraulic system was oversized, capable of delivering incredible breakout force. Operators could dig into piles of compacted rock that would stop newer machines dead in their tracks. The loader's huge buckets lifted enormous loads with ease, making it perfect for loading crushers, hauling oversized stones, or working in iron ore and limestone pits. When the 2000s arrived and modern loaders took over, many companies were hesitant to retire their L90s. Not because the new machines weren't good, but because the L90 simply refused to break. Even today, in remote mines across South America, Eastern Europe, and parts of Asia, these giants still work daily. Their paint is faded, their cabins are outdated, but their power remains unmatched. The Michigan L90 wasn't built to be comfortable. It wasn't built to look pretty. It was built to dominate, and decades later, it still does. Number 7. Zettelmeyer ZL181. The Zettelmeyer ZL181 was one of the most underrated wheel loaders of the 1980s. While brands like Caterpillar and Komatsu dominated global markets, Zettelmeyer quietly produced machines that outlasted many of their competitors. The ZL181 became legendary among European contractors for its shockingly durable build, strong hydraulics, and ultra-reliable powertrain. At the heart of the ZL1801 was a Deutz air-cooled diesel engine, and this alone is a huge reason for its survival. Air-cooled engines have no radiators, coolant hoses, or water pumps to fail. In industries like cement plants, gravel crushers, and dusty demolition sites, radiators often clog and overheat machines. But not the ZL1801. Its air-cooled engine thrived in conditions that crippled other loaders. Zettelmeyer engineered the machine with extraordinary precision. The articulation joint, one of the most abused components in any loader, was built with high-tolerance machining and oversized bushings. Many ZL181 units still have tight articulation after decades of service, something rare even for premium loaders. The hydraulics were simple, strong, and extremely reliable. The ZL1801 didn't offer lightning-fast cycle times, but it delivered consistent, predictable power every single day. This made it ideal for operators who needed a machine to load trucks, clear roads, or move heavy piles of material without worrying about breakdowns. When Volvo acquired Zettelmeyer, the brand slowly disappeared, but the machines didn't. Mechanics across Europe continued maintaining them because parts were easy to fabricate, engines were bulletproof, and the machines were built with thick German steel that resisted wear. Today, the ZL1801 is still seen in rural construction companies, agricultural yards, and municipal fleets in Spain, Germany, Poland, and Romania. Many still operate with their original engines and hydraulic pumps. Its survival proves one thing: Zettelmeyer may be gone, but the machines they built were truly built like tanks. Number 8. Liebherr L531. The Liebherr L531 represents the pinnacle of precision engineering from the 1980s. At a time when many manufacturers were still relying on brute force design, Liebherr focused on refinement, efficiency, and longevity. The result was a mid-sized wheel loader that felt smoother, stronger, and more advanced than most competitors of its era. The L531 was powered by a robust Liebherr diesel engine, known for its fuel efficiency and long life. Liebherr engines were designed to deliver strong torque at low RPM, reducing stress and extending component lifespan. Many L531 engines still start instantly today, even after decades of heavy work in harsh European climates. One of the machine's greatest strengths was its hydraulic system. Liebherr built hydraulic cylinders and pumps with exceptional precision, resulting in a loader that delivered ultra-smooth bucket motion, fast response times, and long service intervals. Many operators say the L531 feels tight, even with high-hour usage, because the hydraulics never lose performance the way cheaper systems often do. Another standout feature was the articulation joint. Liebherr reinforced the articulation area with thick steel plates and used oversized pins that resisted wear. Even after tens of thousands of cycles, the machine stayed stable and predictable. The cab was also ahead of its time. Operators enjoyed better visibility, ergonomic controls, and a more comfortable working environment compared to other loaders of the era. This increased productivity and allowed operators to run the machine longer with less fatigue. Today, the L531 is widely used in Europe for road maintenance, snow removal, municipal services, warehouses, gravel loading, and industrial operations. Many cities still rely on these loaders because they rarely break down and require minimal investment to keep running. While modern machines offer digital screens and advanced electronics, the L531 still proves that great engineering never becomes outdated. Number 9. Fiat Alice 545B. The Fiat Alice 545B is one of the most iconic wheel loaders from the 1980s. Born from the powerful collaboration between Italian engineering, Fiat, and American industrial strength, Alice Chalmers. Together, they created a machine that became a legend in mines, quarries, and construction sites around the world. The 545B came with either a Cummins 6-cylinder engine or a heavy-duty Fiat diesel, both known for longevity and excellent torque delivery. These engines were designed to work under high stress, making the 545B ideal for environments where machines ran day and night without rest. Even with poor maintenance, these engines continued running long after modern engines would have failed. The frame of the 545B was famously overbuilt. Fiat Alice used extremely thick steel plates, reinforced boom arms, and heavy-duty linkages. The machine could withstand impacts, twisting loads, and rough handling better than most loaders of its size. In many scrapyards across America and Europe, the 545B became the go-to machine because it could survive constant abuse. The hydraulic system of the 545B offered strong breakout force, allowing it to dig into hard material more effectively than many competitors. The machine's Z-bar linkage delivered excellent bucket penetration and lifting power. One of the biggest reasons for the 545B's long life is its simplicity. There were no advanced electronics, no sensors, no digital controls. Everything was mechanical and easy to repair. Even today, mechanics can fabricate replacement parts, rebuild cylinders, and service the machine without special tools or software. Because of this rugged design, Many 545Bs from the 1980s are still active in quarries in Italy, Greece, Turkey, Brazil, and parts of the US. These loaders often run with faded paint, worn seats, and a bit of hydraulic seepage, but they continue to load rock, gravel, and scrap metal with the same power they had decades ago. Number 10. Hanomag 55C. The Hanomag 55C is one of the most overlooked wheel loaders from the late 1970s, a machine that never became a global superstar, but quietly earned a reputation as one of the toughest mid-size loaders ever built, at a time when European manufacturers were experimenting with new designs and lighter materials. Hanomag stayed old school. They built the 55C like a steel fortress, focusing on strength, reliability, and mechanical simplicity rather than fancy innovation. At the heart of the 55C was the legendary Deutz F6 L91 air-cooled diesel engine. These engines were famous for refusing to die. No radiators to clog, no coolant to leak, no water pumps to fail. In dusty quarries, cement plants, recycling yards, and hot agricultural fields where water-cooled machines constantly overheated, the 55C ran flawlessly. Operators often joked, if you want a machine to keep working even when the world ends, choose something with a Deutz air-cooled engine. The frame of the 55C was equally impressive. Hanomag used thick German steel throughout the chassis, articulation joint, and boom arms, making the machine incredibly resistant to bending and cracking. Even after decades of lifting heavy rock, smashing into piles, or working on steep terrain, many 55C loaders still have tight pins and straight frames, something modern machines rarely maintain after heavy work. Its hydraulic system was simple, rugged, and consistent. The 55C wasn't the fastest loader in its class, but it delivered smooth and predictable power every single day. Mechanics loved it because everything was easy to reach, easy to fix, and built without unnecessary electronics or fragile sensors. If something broke, it could be welded, rebuilt, or replaced on the spot. Today, the Hanomag 55C is still a common sight on farms, stone yards, rural construction sites, and small quarries across Germany, Poland, Greece, and Eastern Europe. Many of these machines have surpassed 25,000 to 35,000 hours of work, still running on their original engines and pumps. The 55C wasn't designed to impress, it was designed to outlast, and decades later, it's still doing exactly that. These 80s legends proved that durability isn't about technology. It's about toughness, reliability, and engineering that put simplicity first. Decades later, many of them are still outworking newer, more expensive loaders. If you enjoyed this, look at machines that simply don't know how to quit. Hit like, subscribe, and tell me which one you'd trust on the job today. Thanks for watching, because the next video dives into even more old-school machines modern equipment still can't match.